it's kind of like seeing the president of the United States, I guess. I mean, there's about 3 offices you got to go into before you get to his, and you walk through the last past the last secretary, and he's standing at the door waiting for you to come in. Of course, it's like Bear Bryant's office and his, so it's like, like
insane,
wow.
man.
And then right before you get to him, you look to your left, and there's like a candy store, and there's a whole kind of candy like just on the walls, and you can help yourself to any of this candy. So here you are, you got the goat standing at the door, and you don't know to shake his hand or grab a handful of candy. Yeah, so like.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Overtime with Troup podcast. This is episode 3 now, so we're doing really well with this. And my guest today is Coach Glisson in the house. So yeah, man, how's your week been going?
Captain, it's going good, man. Thank you for having me. And just getting right here close to Christmas time, and just enjoying being around the kids. And football season's now over with, but we're trying to get our data and stuff taken care of to lead us into our off-season program.
Nice. So I guess some questions I know everybody's probably wondering. How long you been coaching?
All right. Well, a total of 22 years. This is my 22nd year and my 6th year here at Troup High School.
Fantastic.
And just, sometimes it feels like yesterday, and then sometimes it feels like a little longer.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yeah. You definitely. I could tell you've been here a minute, and you got a nice footprint on the place.
Thank you.
So roughly, I guess, your background, where you from? How'd you grow up? I guess all that kind of stuff.
All right. Well, I'm from Manchester. Went to Manchester High School and played there, and was lucky enough to play on some really good teams that played in the Georgia Dome, played for a state championship. I left there and went and played junior college baseball at Gordon Junior College. I left there after 2 years and just wanted to go right into coaching. And so I transferred to Columbus State, and so I could community coach back at my home at Manchester. I spent 3 years there, and then I followed my quarterback coach to Greenville High School. His name is Jeremy Williams, and some people may have seen it. They've done a movie and a book and stuff on Jeremy. He has ALS, and he lives in Pine Mountain Valley, and but just a great mentor. And so I was there for 2 years. I left there and went to Shaw High School for Coach Flowers for 1 year, and then back to Manchester. Eventually became the head coach, and then here to Troup.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. What position you play back at school?
I played defense my 9th, 10th, 11th grade year, and then played quarterback my senior year.
Okay.
And so play a little bit of both sides.
Nice. Okay. So I get you said the season's over. And y'all had a good season, man. It was nice stuff. I guess overall the season. How did it go? I feel like I guess in terms of how you looked at it, how you wanted it to go, I guess.
Yeah, we've had a tremendous amount of success since we've been here. We started off that first year kind of rebuilding. We went 1-9. Then we went 8-3 to the first round. Then we went 9-3 second round. And then in 2018, we went to the semifinals. And then the last 2 years, we've been put out in the first round. We were put out in the first round last year to Blessed Trinity, who won the state championship. And then this year to a very good Benedictine team who is still playing. They're in the semifinals. But from where we started early in the season, coming off, a weird off season where you had no scrimmage games, no summer OTAs or 7-on-7s, and we started a 14-year-old quarterback. And so we started off real sluggish, but I felt like by the end of the year that we were a really, really good football team. Playing Carver for the region championship, came down to the last play of the game, and then going on the road at Benedictine and losing 42-35, where we actually had the lead 35-34, late in the second half. I was just really proud of our guys and how they responded. We did something that probably has never been done before, playing 3 games in a total of 8 days and 4 games in 15 days.
Yeah,
and,
that's rough, too.
That was just it was just amazing. But our guys pushed through it, and I just really like what we have coming back and what the future holds.
Yeah, like I said, y'all had a good season. It looked like even after the loss, I felt like no one was like, okay, this is it hurt. It hurts, of course. I could tell that, but everyone was like, we still gave it our all.
Yeah, we did, and right there at the end, in that 4-game stretch, one of them included our biggest rival with LaGrange, and we were lucky enough to beat them, and that's been 5 years in a row now that we've beaten them, and that's a long time, man. That's half a decade.
It really is.
And I don't care who it is, man. That's tough to do.
Oh, yeah.
And for us to do that, that's something that, so like these seniors would never have lost to LaGrange. So that's something people can't take away from them. So that's a good thing. Having that experience to play for a region championship and coming up short. But, like you said, I think we were playing really good football, and I think we improved a lot, and our kids are excited about next year.
I guess one thing I know I'm wondering, it's been a crazy year out here.
Yes.
Kobe has been out here for a while now. So I guess, how did that affect your season? I guess what are some ways that you tried to combat it, to overcome? Because I know it's crazy tough dealing with sports in this time.
Yeah, I think back to the summer. I was one of the biggest advocates, I think, in getting this season going for the kids and for everybody. And, I put some things out on Twitter and social media that went viral and different things. And some things were kind of misinterpreted, but I really, us coaches really wanted to fight for these kids to have a season, because you have some seniors that this is it, this is the last time. Yeah. And but so number one, I say that up front to say that we're very grateful for what we were given. We really appreciate Georgia High School standing up for us and our school board and our superintendent and our administrators here at Troup High. Not just for us, but just for every, for LaGrange, for Callaway, for everybody. Just, whether you win or lose is almost a moot point. It's kind of how you go about it, the adversity that you handle, how you carry yourself, the lessons that you learned. And so I felt like our guys learned a tremendous amount of things through this, when they go on to be fathers and husbands, they're gonna know how to persevere. They're gonna know when things don't go right or you're treated a little bit unfairly in this situation. I mean, this was a very difficult year. I mean, it almost felt like 3 or 4 years into one. When you're talking about all the protocols and having to totally rearrange and do things a different way. When you're talking about you think you may play and then the game gets canceled, or you have to go in and you have to play 4 games in 15 days, when you're mentally and physically exhausted. And so all those things are just a blessing. We want to win. There's no doubt about it. I'm as competitive as anybody. But when you just go through those things, you look back and you reflect on, there's only going to be one team that wins the state championship, just one in our classification. So, you hope you do things right where it's not a failure just because you didn't win the state championship. You hope that people were able to grow and learn, and they're able to, one thing I'm most proud about since I've been here at Troup is that we've had a 100% graduation rate all 5 years.
That's fantastic.
This will be the 6th year, and so hopefully this senior class continues to do that. But like one of our big things on our mission statement is for kids to graduate with options. And that doesn't necessarily mean playing football. Not every kid is going to go play college football, but when they leave here, we want them set up with some kind of scholarship opportunities or business opportunities or whatever that is to better themselves. And so we have 15 seniors. Nice. One of them is an equipment manager who is going to sign a scholarship with Reinhardt on Wednesday. He's going to be equipment manager at Reinhardt. And but all 15 of those guys are going to graduate with opportunities. I think 8 or 9 of them are going to play college football. And then we have one going into the military. We have one going to West Georgia. And we have one, I think, maybe going to Georgia Southern. And then the rest of them are going to sign football scholarships. And so we're really proud of this senior class.
Fantastic, man. Yeah, I think the way that you're doing it is setting people up to be I guess for a livelihood in life, to be set up.
And that's the plan. I mean, if all we ever did was win football games, no kids would ever come back to see us. And when the guys graduate and they come back year or 2 or 5 years after playing for us and they're quality individuals, they have good jobs, they have great families, and they bring their kid up and say, hey, I want you to meet my son and this and that. I mean, that's really what it's all about.
So I guess one of the things I was going to ask you, I guess, being a coach is crazy difficult out here. To have you're thinking for the other side of the team what they might do. You're thinking for your team, having plays come across your mind, dealing with some players. So I guess, how have you been able to remain sharp as a coach? How have you been able to, I guess, stay on top, I guess?
Yeah,
keep your team there
well,
too?
first and foremost, we're extremely blessed here at Troup. We're blessed from the administration that allows us the flexibility and all to go do our jobs and gives us the resources to do them effectively. And we're really blessed to have a great coaching staff. We have 4 or 5 of our coaches down at Long Cane, where my wife is the principal.
Nice.
And so that really is a benefit to all of us. And then the remainder of the staff is here on campus, so we don't have any community coaches. Nothing against community coaches, but just the coaches being in the building and interacting with the kids throughout the day is really, really important. I'm real big now. I'm getting a little bit older, so I'm real big on delegating, and giving responsibility, training some of these younger guys up to be the next head coach or the next coordinator or whatever that may be, and so those guys, it's just hiring quality people and holding them accountable for doing a great job. And these guys really get it. And, you go from J.C. Copeland to Mike Keeley to Paul Brewer to Coach McNamee. I can just keep naming. We got 13 of us total. And so it's just really a blessing to be surrounded with those guys, by those guys.
Fantastic. Yeah, y'all have an insane staff of people who just love the game of football, who've been around it. And who really seem to be giving out great advice and teaching.
And I think on top of that, they get it about life. They love football, but they also see that as an avenue to teach these kids about life. And that's the biggest thing. You can't care. You're not going to be very successful if you just care about these guys just on the field. It's not going to work. It's not. People are going to see through it. There are going to be holes, dents in your armor type, so to speak, and kids are not going to do things the right way. And like you said, when you watch us play at the Carver game and we lose on the last play of the game, or we go to Benedictine and we fight for 4 quarters and lose, but yet they hold their head up, they shake hands, they respect the referees, they respect the coaches, they respect the other players. That's how you know you're doing it right.
That's true maturity as a team,
right.
For sure. You said you have some players looking to play college ball. I guess one of the things I know I always wondered, because I played sports in school and was looking to play college as well. Is I guess sort of what is the best process or anything to get to the team you want to play for in college, get a scholarship, all that kind of stuff, I guess. What's the best route?
Well, first and foremost, I think that the general population or the average young man probably has a misconception of what it is. First and foremost, you're talking about Division I schools that can give full rides. Okay, after that, it's very slim pickings on people giving full rides. It kills me sometimes when I see certain schools put so many kids out there, like they're getting scholarships or doing this, and then you think back, well, this school doesn't even offer athletic scholarships. And so it's a little misconception about some things. So, but on the flip side of that, when these NAIA schools, with these Division II schools for the most part, if you can go in there and you can get high GPAs and you can get some academic money and maybe a little bit of athletic money, who really cares if it's a full football scholarship or not, as long as you don't have to pay
Exactly. You get the money right.
That's right. But I think the biggest thing, I learned a big-time lesson when I was at Manchester. I really wanted this one particular kid to sign a football scholarship, and the kid ended up going up north and played football, but when he came home, he had a ton of financial debt from going, and so basically he had to go and pay a large amount of money to be able to play. And when he came back, he had ended up not getting his degree and doing this and that. So this kid paid all this money, didn't get a degree. Yeah, he got to say he played college football, but I got to thinking, is that the best thing for this kid? And it's just that's I didn't like that situation. So what we try to do, and we get beat up by it in the public a little bit and this, that, but we try to find the right fit for the kid. That's the bottom line, where that kid can go get an education. Here's the deal. The deal is only 3 to 4% of high school football players are going to go play college football and get everything paid for. So you're talking about 3 to 4 out of 100, okay? After that, you're talking about 1% of the population is going to go play in the NFL. And then after that, you're talking about the average lifespan in the NFL is 2 to 3 years. So if you don't go in the first round of the NFL draft, you don't make your money until you get to the second contract. Wow. So hypothetically, if I'm a kid that goes to Alabama till I'm 21, I graduate and go to the NFL for 3 years. Okay, well, I'm not even 25 years old and I'm out in the NFL.
Wow.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Have you set yourself up for success and been educated and have the paperwork to show it? And so those are the things that we talk about. And believe it or not, I stole that from Nick Saban.
Wow.
When Nick Saban came here and was recruiting Kemakuta, he didn't talk about football. He talked about down the road, 50 years from now, 30 years from now, 20 years from now, setting yourself up. Because, you never know. We have somebody on our staff, J.C. Copeland, who went to the NFL Combine, who was with the Dallas Cowboys, and then he breaks his hip, and he can't play anymore. Luckily for him, he did his thing and got his degree at LSU, and now he can come back and coach here.
Set himself up for success, yeah.
And but those are the things that if you're not careful, we as society, we want these kids to sign scholarships and be on stage and let the newspaper talk to them, but you got to find that right fit for the kid.
And that's a good thing to preach the reality, actually,
Yeah,
because that was a big thing. My coach was like, he's like, yeah, you can play NBA, all that stuff, but the route to get there, if you could survive it.
Yeah, well,
okay.
you take, a kid signs to the Division II school and is playing at 3 o'clock on the afternoon in Kansas. There'll probably be more people at the Troup game than there is at that game. So it's not all glorified like people think it is.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. I guess, are there any people, you talked about some people playing college ball.
Yeah.
I guess roughly what are some of the teams, in college that are, looking, or they're looking at too?
Yeah. So talking about with the kids we have coming out this year.
Yeah.
All right, so this has been a very weird year with the Corona deal.
Yeah.
First and foremost, the schools that used to get 2 years or 3 years ago, we were the second school in the state of Georgia with the number of college recruiters that came through. We had like 92 different schools come through, which was amazing and great opportunities for our guys. But that being said, the dead period for Division I's and all, they cannot come through until April 1st of 2021 now because of the coronavirus. Okay, so you have your junior colleges coming through, you have your NAIA schools coming through. To make it even harder, what has happened is the NCAA has granted student athletes an extra year of eligibility. But they didn't give the institutions any more scholarships. So therefore, there's going to be a deficit somewhere. And you're probably being an athletic guy yourself, you're probably aware of the transfer portal.
Yeah.
So the transfer portal, there are more kids in the transfer portal right now than there are scholarships available. So it's just getting very watered down.
It's double to triple the competition out here now.
So all that being said, Royce White is going to sign early with Memphis, offensive lineman that we have. There's been a couple schools coming here in the last few days trying to flip him from Memphis, but he has a great relationship with their staff. We have probably about 5 kids. Royce is probably going to be the only one that signs this Wednesday in the or the early signing period. Everybody else is probably going to sign in February just to see how things shake out.
Falls,
But we'll probably have about 4 or 5 guys for the first time in a while go junior college route.
Wow.
And here's the unique thing. They're going to all be full qualifiers. So it's not like they're going there because of academics. They're just going to try to go there for 6 months and see if they can parlay that into something like a Power 5.
Yeah.
We have Joko Willis, who's at Independence right now, who's committed to Kentucky. So he's there. Tyreek Carlisle, who's a Power 5 corner, is also at Independence, who will go, Power 5. So we try to do those type of things. People always think junior college must be a great issue, and that's not always the case. And so especially for these 5, all of our guys, for the most part, will be fully qualified.
Wow, how great.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic spot to be in. I guess as far as, your off-season stuff, what are some stuff that you're, planning to get yourself set up for a better season, this off-season?
Well, right now, since we've been done with the season for a week or so, we have started collecting all of our data to lead us into our winter conditioning, which will begin in January. So the guys have been doing their measurements in the weight room, how big, how tall, bench press, squat, 40 times, all that kind of stuff. And then that information will drive us in January to push those guys to get better. And in January and February, it's really a situation where we concentrate on getting bigger and stronger. And then as we get into March, April, we'll start getting team building type stuff. And then we get into May, which will be our spring practice, which we'll play a spring game versus Noonan. And then when you get into summertime, you get into June, July, you're just kind of fine-tuning things, getting ready for the season. And so that's kind of the process that has worked for us. This group that we have coming back, the culture is extremely good. I mean, I've talked about that many times, but, I mean, this is the most fun group of kids that I've been around. I mean, there's just not a whole lot of problems other than the average, him being a young man, boy type deal. But there's no huge problems, no cancers on the team, and that's really fun when you can just come and everybody wants to work and get better.
The best thing is when everyone's there, has the same mindset, want to achieve the same goals. That's the best.
Yeah, and people always think championships are won with great athletes, but it's built on the backs of the guy that may not go play college football, and those guys that are just in there trying to get better, and those are guys that – are your blue-collar guys.
I think, what you're talking about is like the role players.
That's right.
Was a big thing. That we talked about it in school because the role players, they're the ones, hey, I know I'm not the star, I may not be, but I'm going to do my job.
And we talk about the Michael Jordan effect all the time. I think he was as good as I've ever seen in making the people around him better. And raising their play to a high level, and so we need our key guys, our starters, our quote unquote all region, all state players to do that. But then those role players, like I said, are the ones that are the backbone.
I guess, what did you want your next season to be like? Is there any goals that you want to achieve? You got any unfinished business that you want?
Well, there is. I mean, there's always those kind of things. I mean, we just felt like that we were a better team than a first-round football team, so that kind of sticks in your craw a little bit. We would like to continue our success in rivalry games against LaGrange. Callaway has gotten us the last 2 years after we got them the year before, and so, we would like to play better against those guys. From a personal standpoint, next year going in will be my 7th year, and there's an opportunity, for I think the most wins ever here is like 46 total wins. From a head coach, and so we have the opportunity to pass that next year. So from a personal standpoint, that's something
nice to have on the wall.
I mean, that's something in the short term nobody can really take away from
exactly.
And but the main focus is for these guys, and trying to get them better, trying to let them have the success that they deserve, and make a run at it. And I think we have the right pieces, and playing a 14-year-old quarterback, the best thing about doing that is he's now 15. And, and then he's going to be 16 and he's going to be 17. And so that as he gets that experience and the people around him get that experience, you have a very high ceiling.
Fantastic. Okay, so next question that I had, because I'm always wondering, I feel like every coach has like a crazy coaching story or one crazy experience that they've ever had. You have any of those kind of story, one up your sleeve?
As far as crazy,
I guess crazier, on the crazier side of stories.
Nothing that I can think of just right off the top of my head. I mean, I've just been really blessed to be around some good people, to meet some good people. I guess one of the cool things, I think I mentioned Nick Saban, Coach Saban, earlier in the conversation, and I remember the first time I went to his office. It's kind of like seeing the President of the United States, I guess. I mean, there's about 3 offices you got to go into before you get to his, and you walk through the last past the last secretary, and he's standing at the door waiting for you to come in. Of course, it's like Bear Bryant's office, and his, so it's like. Like,
insane,
wow.
Man.
And then right before you get to him, you look to your left, and there's like a candy store, and there's a whole kind of candy like just on the walls, and you can help yourself to any of this candy. So here you are, you got the goat standing at the door, and you don't know to shake his hand or grab a handful of candy. And so like, I think that's kind of a pretty neat little deal, and then you go in his office and sit down, and he hits that button, and the door shuts behind you.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool. But, I think that was one of the most awkward moments, not knowing what to do. But, those kind of things are fun, going through the 1-9 season and just a transformation from 1-9 to 8-3 the next year, which was the biggest turnaround in the state of Georgia at that time. That was a lot of fun, and I think some people ask me, say, if you had it to do all over again with the 1-9, well, the big deal is the 1-9 made us who we are today.
Exactly.
Because you learned from it and you were able to go through those trials and tribulations. So, it's just been a great experience here at Troup. I never wanted to be anything more than the head football coach at Manchester, just because that's where I played, that's where my dad played. I had such great fond memories of the place. But then when I got this opportunity and came over here, it's just been like a home away from home. I mean, it just really fit me and my family very, very well. And there's great people here. And, I think that's the biggest thing. And we've been welcomed everywhere we've turned. And so we're just so excited just to continue to try to see what we can do to help, the school and the community.
Yeah, I think going back to what you said, the 1-9 and stuff, I think the teams I'm always on the lookout for is the teams that may have had that rougher season.
Sure.
Because there's no one who knows that hurt more and who will come back, bounce back like they never want to have that season again. Is those sort of teams.
And I think as a coach, I think you got to be very careful. Like in a 10-game football season, you go 1-9. You look back and you say, well, I may could have done this a little different and won 2 more games or 3 more games, or make sure you don't cut corners and take your 1-9 and be better for it the next year.
Exactly.
And I think that's a hard decision that coaches have to make, and whatever they're comfortable making. And for us, we push the right buttons.
Yeah, definitely taking those hits and just being like, okay, that was this, and this is doing. I got all my mistakes right here. So let's go ahead and reconcile these. My next, I guess, and final question, I guess, would be. Our final set of questions would be, I guess, where do you find your motivation, when you come into the facility that day and you're like, okay, guys, to help push them, I guess, what finds you? That's
a good question. I think first and foremost, when I start thinking about what a tough job I have, I think about my wife. My wife's a principal, and especially during this Corona time, Miss Watts and my wife at the middle school and all the other principals out there and administrators, just seeing what they go through. She's on the phone to midnight calling parents about quarantine and this and that. And so, number one, when I start feeling sorry for myself, I think about that. But I think overall, with me and with her personally, it's a mission field. I feel like that's what God called us to do, and there's so much bigger than the game of football. And I'm real bad about focusing on the winning and losing and this and that. But the things you miss the most are the relationships on a day-to-day basis. And so when those kids graduate, seniors, or they leave your program, you miss those conversations, and you hope that you did things the right way, that you gave them good examples to look at, not only from my perspective, from me being a good example, but the coaches that I surround them with, hopefully that they're good role models. But I just see it as being such a mission field, and God has blessed us tremendously, and we just want to give back.
Yeah, I think to your point for sure is at least being grown up in school and having coaches. I feel like I don't remember many of the assignments that were given to me. Many, suicides I may have had to run at practice, but I do remember the influence that those people had on my life. And so I definitely think having those great people there and being that good influence to set them up for success is something that changes the world. So, yeah, man, that's some gems right there. Well, I guess this is the end of it right here. Man, thank you for being on the the podcast.
I appreciate it, man. Welcome to Troup, man.
Yeah, man, it's brand fresh new out here.
Yeah. Nothing like jumping in head first into the coronavirus and the school. And,
crazy.
And you did great setting up all this equipment. I know people can't see it, but you got a ton of equipment in here, and you got that done pretty quick.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, so that was awesome, man. But I just appreciate you having me and for everything that you do for our school, and we're very appreciative of it.
I appreciate you, man. All right, man. Well, hopefully we'll get you back on before. I'd like to have you again for the season
I'm doing
starts.
baseball this year.
Yeah,
too,
okay,
so,
all right.
Man,
Watch
I have
out.
to come back over and do a baseball.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get double time over here.
That's right.
Okay, all right. Fantastic, man. Well, yeah. Thanks again, and see you guys on episode 4. Thanks for watching.